Hello, this is Monica from Unique Designs by Monica, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own Halloween icons for this upcoming Halloween season that is approaching really fast. So let's get started. We're going to start with the skull, which is using basic shapes as I always do. We're going to start with a normal circle and a square. Now you can have the square positioned anywhere you want, depending on how high or how low you make it. It'll really change the look of your skull. So I'm going to put it like that for right now, and I'm going to align it in the center. There we go. And we're going to weld. I'm also going to change the color of my image here to make it more look like a skull. So the previous one, if you can see, it's a little bit more elongated. This one's a little shorter. So I'm going to also get two circles and a square. So for this one, I am going to just round them out just a little bit. And this one, I'm going to make slightly bigger. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is your skull. You can make it look any way you want. Now I'm going to do the mouth. And for this, I'm just going to thin out this square, make it into a rectangle. And I'm going to move this a little like perpendicular. And then I'm going to take it off the lock and shorten it just a little bit. Now my previous one has about 4. I think for this one I'm just going to do 3. Oh, I copied the wrong one. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to make these vertically. There we go. Now I don't like the fact that this one's a little shorter than this one, so I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. There we go. And weld. Now I'm just going to place it right here for my mouth, and for my nose I'm going to use a triangle. Nothing too fancy, just a normal triangle for my nose. And there you go. You got yourself a skull. All right, next we're going to be creating a pumpkin. And if I believe I've done this on a different video, I believe it was my the automobile all season. And if you haven't seen that, I'm going to put it in the description below. Okay, so we're going to make this into an oval and then duplicate it 3 times. And I'm going to position these. Actually, I'm going to just position these 2 first. And I'm going to take it off the lock. This one also needs to be unlocked. There you go. And this is going to be my middle right here. So what I'm going to do first, and now these don't have to be the same size. The more different they look, the more unique your design will be. So let's make this vertically. Perfect. And now I'm going to weld this to the top, and this is now my pumpkin. Let me bring that to the front. Let me change the color here to make it look more like a pumpkin. There we go. Now, this one right here, I made a little stem, which is easy to do. You just get 2 squares, and you just make them into rectangles. For this one, I think I'm going to just make it slightly different. And all I'm going to do is just match these up. Now, let's get a little closer so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to have it go from point to point. Alrighty, and now I'm going to weld. Let me move right back out. I'm going to just copy the bottom, and then I'm going to make this a little smaller because I made the stem a little too big. And bring it to the front. Right there. And then I'm going to weld. And I'm also going to change the color to this to a darker green. And then move it all the way to the back. There we go. And we have ourselves a pumpkin. Now, in order to make the jack-o'-lantern, you have the same process. You keep everything the same. Let's just duplicate this. Now, I didn't make this big enough, so I'm going to have to just change it just a little bit, just a tiny bit. There we go. I needed a big enough surface for the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And all I'm doing is hitting Control C, Control V for PC. I'm not quite sure what it is for Mac. So I'm going to work on this template right here. I'm going to grab myself 2 triangles and a circle. Okay, and I'm going to just make these small enough to fit right in here. I'm not doing anything other than just sizing them to fit in here. Now I'm making one bigger and one smaller just to give it a little character. And this, I'm going to take it off the lock and make it more of an oval. Just like so. I'm going to highlight everything and then, whoa, nope, I have to actually weld the black first. Weld, because it sees that it's one image. Now I can select everything and slice. I no longer need this. Now for this portion right here, you can leave it black or you can make it a different color so when you overlap them, it looks like there's a candle right inside. There you go. And you have 2 completely different pumpkins, a pumpkin and a jack-o'-lantern. Now, if you wanted to use the same pumpkin that you just did, just be aware to make this area right here a little bit bigger in order to put in a face. Alrighty, now we're going to be moving on to making our coffin. And what we're going to do is get our polygon tool or a polygon shape. And we're going to take it off the lock and elongate it. Just like that. Now we're going to grab ourselves a square. And we just need to make sure it covers from point to point and then slice. Alright, we no longer need this. Okay, and now we're going to grab our hexagon shape. And all we're going to do is going to have it go from point to point. And let me just make sure I'm actually doing that. I'm getting a little closer. I'm going to take it off the lock just so I can get from point to point. Let's elongate this just a little bit. I want this top portion to be a little higher up. Okay. And we're going to select everything and weld. There we go. So now we have ourselves a little coffin. But we're not done yet. Let's put a little message on here. Let's go R.I.P. Rest in peace. And this font is the normal Silhouette font. I mean, not Silhouette, Cricut font. It says Cricut Sans right there. So I'm going to change that to white. There we go. We got ourselves a little coffin. And if you want this to be, make sure that's right in the center, you just go to align horizontal vertically. There we go. Now, what is a coffin without a cemetery? So let's make ourselves a tombstone. We're going to need a circle and we're going to need a square. And the beautiful thing about this particular image is that you don't really need to do much other than make sure that these 2 points are aligned perfectly. And there we go. Now we need to weld. Let's just make this a tad smaller so it can fit right there. And just to make it a little spookier, let's put a little cross in this. We're gonna just elongate the square, making it into a rectangle, duplicating it, moving it to the side like so. And all we need to do, oh, I grabbed my pumpkin there. All we need to do is align this horizontally and vertically. Actually, let's just get the bottom a little further. There we go. That's good. You know, I'm just not satisfied. I'm going to move this a little further. There we go. Now I like it. And weld. And all I need to do is attach both of them by welding them together. There we go. We got ourselves a tombstone. And you can change this any color you want. Gray, darker gray. So we can also put a message on here. Rest in peace. There we go. And what is a gravestone without a fence to go around it? So let's create ourselves a fence. So all I need is a square and a rectangle. A triangle. And all I'm going to do is try to get these two to play nice and go from point to point. I think my hardest time that I have is putting these two together. Otherwise, it gives me a small little gap, and I really don't like that. All right, now that I have these two close to what I want it to be, I'm going to weld. All right, now I'm going to take it off the lock, and I'm going to slenderize this and make it to a point. Now it kind of looks like a stake, you know, like the kind of stake that you put through a vampire's heart, but you know, it's fine because we're going to adjust this. Now we need another square, and we're going to make this slice off. Slice. Oh, not weld. No, not weld. Slice. There we go. Now we don't need that. There we go. And all we need to do is just duplicate this. And I like to space them. You see how there's a grid right here? I like to space them at least 2 blocks away from one another. There we go. And if you want more, just duplicate it like that. Grab myself another square, take it off the lock, and elongate it. Let me just duplicate that twice. Oh. Okay. And weld. Oh, not paste. Weld. Okay, let's move out just a little bit. Now you can actually have this behind. Let's go with the front. You can put this to the front. You can have this pumpkin right here in the front. These are perfect for embellishments. These are perfect for cards. You can make a simple, I guess you can put this on vinyl if you want, but I think it looks a lot cuter on paper than it does on vinyl. But that's just my personal opinion. Thank you so much for stopping on by. I hope that this really helps you out this for the Halloween season. I think I might do a part 2. I'm not entirely sure. Stay tuned. I'm going to be posting another one. I post every single Wednesday and Saturdays. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button if you like what you see. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Have a good day. Bye.